Hello and welcome to the latest edition of SmithFlix Movie Poster Breakdown. So in season 2 of my podcast, the SmithFlix Podcast, available now on Spotify, I covered the Halloween franchise in its entirety. Now I figured this would be a good time to take a look at the highs and lows of the franchise's posters. Now with my last breakdown of the James Bond franchise, I mainly stuck to the US release teasers and main posters. I'll be doing things a little bit differently here. On top of the US teaser and main posters, I'll also be discussing some foreign posters that I found, as well as DVD covers, book covers, and even some fan-made posters that caught my eye. So without further ado, let's dive in. We, of course, start with the OG, the first film, what is one of the greatest horror films ever made, as well as being my favorite horror film of all time, Halloween from 1978. The poster is simplistic in its design, yet so impactful. I mean, I have one of these hanging up on my wall. The image of a hand holding a knife that dissolves into an image of a jack-o'-lantern is instantly iconic. I mean, even the font chosen for the title stands out. Now, there were even theories of a face hidden in the hand, and while, yeah, I can see it, I think it's more coincidental than incidental. But geez, look how veiny that hand is. Michael's really gripping the shit out of that knife. He must really hate babysitters. I mean, even the tagline is iconic. The night he came home. Who's coming home? John Denver? Bruce Dern? Go see the movie and find out. Of course, with every great movie comes something crappy attached to it. Yes, the novelization for the book doesn't contain the brilliant poster image, but rather has some model wearing a bedsheet and holding a knife in a not-so-frightening way. In fact, it looks like they stole this image from one of those badly modeled images you see on a cheap Halloween costume bag at Spirit Halloween. Oh, and to make matters worse, they just pasted a generic jack-o'-lantern over the face. It's not even centered properly. We also get this lame tagline that reads, "Trick or treat or die." Yeah, there was also this version, which somehow makes it worse. It removes the knife and appears to just be clutched in its bedsheet ghost costume. Again, alleging it was taken from a cheap costume bag. We do get a blurb from US Magazine at the bottom that compliments the movie and not the book, saying it's the scariest movie since Psycho. We also get a bunch of text at the top as if whoever wrote this made a stat attempt at copying Stephen King or something. Tricked by his cunning, treated to his savagery. Annie, Linda, and Laurie, fresh, pretty, ready to be taken, stalked by a sadistic power who has returned to claim new victims on this, the most frightening night of the year. I mean, it's essentially just one long run-on sentence that tries to overcompensate by overusing the ellipses. Well, they did eventually fix it for later publications, although the iconic image from the poster is noticeably darker. Oh, and they did release an illustrated version of the novel that brings back the original novel cover, although they did improve on it a bit with more detail, and the jack-o'-lantern head is glowing. Although it still has nothing to do with the movie itself. Of course, even that was eventually re-released with a cover that more appropriately reflects the movie, with Michael Myers standing at the top of the staircase looking down. Not sure what's with all the light streaks, though. Is he all shiny, or light starting to pour out of him? Well, here's the Dutch international poster for the film. They changed the title to Maskersnacht, which translates to the Night of the Mask. They could have just kept the same title as Halloween. Is spelled and pronounced the same as in English, but I guess they felt they needed to change it. Actually, I did look this up, and there's a reason they did this. It's because they have too many tulip festivals. I'm just kidding. No, it's actually because they don't really celebrate Halloween in the Netherlands. They celebrate something called Vastelavond, and it's celebrated in February, which is basically just a mashup of Halloween and Carnival. But hey, at least the tagline makes sense, which translates to "The Night He Returned." Aside from that, the poster shows a drawing of what I guess is supposed to be Laurie Strode, even though it looks nothing like Jamie Lee Curtis. It also shows a masked figure wearing what more resembles a ski mask than the iconic William Shatner mask. We also get Michael standing silhouetted in front of a house holding a big-ass knife. Next, we have the DVD release box cover. Ah, yes, I remember this one being the first copy of Halloween that I owned. The mask on the front always struck me as a little off, as it looks as though the mask was folded or has a crease in the middle. It also looks like his head is popping out of an eggshell or something. And finally, I have this one that I found. Someone fashioned a poster, so it's obviously fan-made, or maybe it's from an alternate dimension. But this is what it would look like had the film gone under its original title and they had gone with the original choice for the mask, the Emmett Kelly clown mask. I mean, even the tagline's different, utilizing the taunt, "He's gonna get you," that Lonnie and the bully friends come after Tommy Doyle with. That brings us to Halloween 2 from 1981. It features some sort of freaky skull pumpkin hybrid that I don't recall seeing in the movie. The opening credits did feature a pumpkin open up to reveal a skull, but that's the closest it gets. Also, for no apparent reason, they felt the need to put the words "all new" on the poster in case audiences thought they were seeing the same movie or an old film that bear the same name. Even the tagline, much like this disappointing sequel, is lame. It just says, "From the people who brought you Halloween, more of the night he came home." Oh, wow. What creativity there. We also have the Danish poster, which does keep their own Dutch title, calling it Maskersnacht 2, or Night of the Mask 2. Although they do have the official title in smaller font below to assure fans that they are, in fact, seeing the sequel to Halloween. But hey, at least they put an image that more closely resembles Michael Myers here, although the screaming lady still looks nothing like Jamie Lee Curtis. Well, we do get some nice imagery, though, of this large knife blending in with the gray sky, so got to give them props for that, I guess. I also found this Japanese release poster, which simply titles it Boogeyman. It also shows either a cracked Michael Myers mask sitting on top of a mountain, Michael Myers turning into lava, or maybe he's been hideously scarred Freddy Krueger style. Now, we also get this shot of a syringe about to be plunged into an eyeball, something that happens in the movie, but we don't see it, with just the aftermath of it, so there you go. Now, Halloween 2 did also receive a novelization. Its cover, for no apparent reason, shows a woman screaming for help while trapped inside a jack-o'-lantern. Man, I wish they had that scene in the movie. So that takes us to the film's 4K Ultra HD Collector's Edition box cover, which features a screen-accurate Michael Myers casually walking through some blowing leaves in the Hadfield parking lot, looking like he's in a Nancy Myers movie. That takes us to the Michael Myers-less in-name only sequel, Halloween 3, The Search for Spock. Oh, no, wait, that's not right. Oh, that's right. It's Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. This teaser poster gives the title a shiny chrome makeover and shows a stretched-out witch face that admittedly does look pretty creepy. It hovers over a stretched-out photo of some trick-or-treater silhouettes walking in the reddish sunset, which is a scene in the movie that really only happens for a few seconds. Also, why is the street light so bright? There was also this teaser poster, which shows the close-up of the witch hag. God, if only the movie was as frightening as this poster. There's also this one here, which swaps the shiny chrome title for the matching font of the first two films. The witch hag face is also zoomed in more, a little bit more transparent, and we still get the three silhouetted kids out for a night of candy and mischief. The movie also received a novelization, which retains the original look of the posters, although the witch hag's face is more prominently stretched out here, and the silhouetted children are smaller. They also dimmed the street light in the back, because even the publishers knew that light had no importance. Also, instead of the shiny chrome look of the title, we get this shiny red color. It even offers up a tagline that reads, "The night no one comes home," which doesn't even make sense, because the plot revolves around a psychotic Irishman who wants to kill only children. So wouldn't the parents and single folk be coming home? Now, I should point out that they did come out with a completely different poster during its theatrical run that does pertain more to the movie. It still contains that really dumb tagline, which is where the novelization probably got it from. But this one features the digital jack-o'-lantern we see over the opening credits against the flaming sky, along with the three unique silver shamrock masks. I mean, the title is a little lacking, though, coming off as more generic and bland. It also seems to indicate that the title of the movie is Season of the Witch, Halloween 3. We then get the box cover for the Collector's Edition DVD that features Donald Cochran's disembodied head and hands hovering over the familiar silhouetted children. It looks he's about to crush that massive collage below him. And we get some classic scenes like the iconic ending involving Dr. Chalice warning the TV studio over the phone, along with a shot of Dr. Chalice strapped to a dolly while wearing the silver shamrock skull mask. There's also a shot of three kids dressed in the featured three silver shamrock costumes and a row of the androids standing around awaiting their commands. Now, the original DVD cover is much more generic looking. It retains the stretching witch hag and the silhouetted kids, but changes the title font to this generic looking cracked orange motif, followed by a subtitle that looks like it was typed out on a typewriter. And the Blu-ray version isn't much better. It removes the witch entirely, keeps the silhouetted children, and for no apparent reason adds the skull jack-o'-lantern hybrid from the Halloween 2 posters, and for reasons that can only be explained by the people who created it as either beams of light or noxious gas coming out of the eye holes. Hell, they probably couldn't even come up with a good explanation. They're probably high as a kite when they made this. The title font, while still not as great as seen on the original posters, is an improvement over its DVD version, however. Next, we have the triumphant return of Michael Myers in Halloween 4. Well, sort of. The main poster for the return of Michael Myers has Michael taking a selfie in front of his house. Ah, yes, looks pretty iconic. The mask looks awesome. And the house in the background, well, looking like it was taken from the first film, does give an eerie presence. Even the tagline's pretty decent. 10 years ago, he changed the face of Halloween. Tonight, he's back. Still, something's not quite right. I can't quite put my finger on it. Oh, that's right. That's not the mask from the movie. Rest not, for someone has corrected that. Reddit user KaboomBox55 does give us a look at what it would look like if they went with the H4 mask. Yeah, I mean, you could see why they went with the classic Shatner mask. This looks not scary at all. I mean, you know it's bad when the filmmakers are so embarrassed to put their movie mask on their own damn poster. Well, there's also this one that looks like a teaser poster showcasing Michael still in his bandages before he steals his cheap dime store mask. Not sure if this is fan-made or not, as I did find it on IMDb. I want to say it's fan-made because I've never seen this poster before in my life, and if it is real, it's one of the rarest posters out there. Now there's also this video release poster you probably saw in your local video store back when it came out on VHS early 1989, if you were old enough to remember video stores for 1989. They do swap out the blocky 4 for a more stylized one that you usually only see on a Lethal Weapon poster. But hey, at least the French get it right with their poster showing a hand-drawn with a movie-accurate mask. Michael appears to be playing hide-and-seek with his victims. He also must be deaf because he can't hear the police driving up next to him. In France, they removed the film's subtitle, and the tagline simply translates to, "He returns." We also have this one, courtesy of Chris from the Movie Database, which features a Michael Myers-shaped house. At least they got the mask right here as well. I'm guessing that's the silhouette of Jamie Lloyd in her clown costume, although she looks as though she's about to be snatched by the poltergeist ghost. Finally, we have the 4K Blu-ray Collector's Edition cover, which shows Michael once again posing for his profile picture on Tinder as the angry mob descends upon him. We get a nice fall setting with the ghost decoration scene in the beginning of the film, along with kids trick-or-treating and the Carruthers house in the background. You can also see a randomly overturned ambulance in the background because why not? I do want to give them kudos for showing the costumed and masked Jamie Lloyd reflecting in the knife, though. It's a pretty nice touch there. Now, as mentioned when I discussed this film on my podcast, there was a movie novelization. In fact, there were 3 covers released for the novel. The first was the original release to coincide with the film. It once again features the Shatner mask, although here it can be permissible because the novel was written and released before the film was released. So how were the publishers supposed to know they were going to use such a generic mask in the movie? They also omitted the subtitle and swapped the numeral 4 for the Roman numeral, keeping in tradition with the previous films. We also get the not-so-subtle tagline that now reads, "Michael Myers, Maniac, is on the loose again." You know they had to put Maniac in there in case you were thinking of Mike Myers, the actor-comedian, or thinking of Michael Myers, the renowned basket weaver. Next, because author Nicholas Grabowski wasn't fully satisfied with the original novelization, released this one later on. This still retains the Shatner mask, because why would you want to use the Don Post mask? But he does zoom it in more, and it features an image of the costumed Jamie Lloyd peeking out of his eyeball. God, Michael, better flush that out before you get an infection. And because Grabowski still wasn't satisfied with this special limited edition, he later released Halloween 4, the Ultimate Edition. This cover masks the Shatner mask and makes it more chromatic and negative style embossment. It also adds a menacing black and white jack-o'-lantern, and the image of the costume Jamie Lloyd looks like some sort of sun god about to burst out of his eye. Now, before we move on to the next film, I wanted to show you this, which was pulled from an alternate dimension. This is what could have been had Halloween 3 been a box office success, thus allowing John Carpenter and Deborah Hill to continue their vision of making the Halloween franchise an anthology series. Here in this alternate dimension, we see it's Halloween 4, The Demon Hive, showing a glowing jack-o'-lantern skull hybrid floating over a small town while killer yellow jackets swarm down. Hey, could have been interesting. Or shit. Who knows? That brings us to Halloween 5, where Michael gets his revenge, but not really. That's what they wanted fans and filmgoers to believe to get butts in the seats. Here they shift the mask further over to the right of the poster. I guess to try to fool audience members, who knows. They continue using the Shatner mask, and they add this massive knife covering the right side of his face, and has Jamie Lloyd wearing the clown costume from Halloween 4. She also seems to be morphing into the knife for no apparent reason. I'd also like to point that this poster doubles down on screwing up, because not only do we get the wrong mask, but also the wrong costume for Jamie, as she dresses as a princess in this one. I guess the princess costume wasn't scary enough, but then again, neither is this one. There's also the corny tagline that reads, "Michael lives, and this time they're ready," which shows that this movie is bad, and the filmmakers don't care because they didn't even bother fixing the grammatical error in the tagline. However, Reddit user Kaboombox55 once again gives us a glimpse at what the poster would have looked like had they used the movie-accurate mask. He also adds more shadow, removes the lame tagline as well. But Kaboombox55 isn't the only Reddit user with a keen knack for poster making. K-Scourge also created a similar one, although he removes the negative space between the mask and the knife, looks more in line with the original poster. He does keep the cornball tagline, and in both versions, you can see that Jamie is still in her clown costume. Now, while there wasn't an official novelization, author Jake Martin did write an unauthorized one. He originally had it released on paperback, and it was available for sale on Amazon, but that was later pulled, probably for copyright reasons. The paperback version features no discernible imaging related to the franchise, again, possibly due to copyright reasons. Instead, we get this weird shadow that looks like the Babadook, and we're either looking at it through frosted glass or a cube of ice. You can also tell there's no subtitle, and I do like the font chosen for that. It's got this like old leather cracked version to it, feel to it. Now, the novel was eventually released digitally and is available to read through various sites. This book cover once has us looking as though Michael is horning in on Jason Voorhees' turf. You get this murky image of Michael crawling out of a lake, or maybe it's supposed to be the river? Michael takes another step in copying Jason by peeking over a wooded area, ripping off the poster for 1988's Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. Then we also get the thorn symbols flanking Michael, keeping in rhythm with the film's lame thorn subplot, or barely subplot if you can call it that. Now let's take a look at the film's 4K Ultra HD Collector's Edition box cover, which has Michael wearing his movie-accurate mask, holding a scythe, and posing again, showing in his FarmersOnly.com profile that he's a hard worker and good with tools. In the background, we have Greaser Mike's Camaro and the Myers house that looks nothing like the Myers house. More fall leaves fall, showing off Michael's favorite time of the year. Now, before we move on, I did find this, courtesy of another alternate dimension. This is what it could have looked like had they continued with Chef Betterman's original script, a vision that continued the twist ending of Halloween 4. This one, titled Halloween 5, The Killer Inside Me, shows Jamie Lloyd standing in the hallway, her clown costume soaked in blood. The tagline creepily reads, "It's dying to get out." Next up, we have the entry that closed out the Lame Duck Thorn trilogy with Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers, a sequel which, despite the title, does not feature Michael Myers getting cursed or cursing anyone. It's also the first film in the franchise to stop numbering its sequels. Now, the teaser poster here isn't too bad, with a close-up of Michael, finally in a movie-accurate mask, in a blue hue as if he's standing in the moonlight. He holds a knife close to his face for added effect. And even the tagline isn't too bad. terror never rests in peace. I mean, Michael does inject terror whenever he shows up, so okay, that makes sense. It's just too bad the movie isn't as good as the poster. It's just another case of not basing how good a movie is off the poster alone. Now, subsequent home video releases and other posters for the theatrical release did keep the same design, just added the reflection of Tara Strode in the knife. He also replaced the decent tagline with a crappy blurb attempting to convince people this film was actually scary. I mean, according to the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror, which is the organization that hands out the Saturn Awards, this is the scariest Halloween of them all, which makes me wonder if they've actually ever seen the other films. Now, there's also this bizarre alternate poster which flips the moonlit Myers mask and has a naked woman paled through Michael's eyes. It also adds the number 6 to the title and removes the dumb subtitle with a font that looks as though it was written on a college student's dorm room door. I mean, I do want to say this is fan-made, or at least somewhere overseas given the nudity. However, when I found it, it claims to be a vintage poster. I think it was on for sale on like Etsy or something like that. Now, The Curse of Michael Myers is known for receiving a producer's cut, as Dimension butchered the theatrical cut more than, well, Michael Myers on Halloween night. The Blu-ray release for the unrated producer's cut keeps the original look of the poster, but removes the moonlit blue hue and adds a random screaming wood in the knife instead of, I don't know, someone from the movie. It also changes the font to red for no apparent reason. Now, here we have an original teaser poster that bears the original title's name before it was changed, Halloween 666, The Origin of Michael Myers. Yeah, they even released a teaser trailer before they decided to change it all. Now, the close-up image of stone-faced Michael remains with the image flipped and Tara Strode still reflecting in the knife. The only significant difference here than the title is that the font for Halloween is in line with the original font used throughout the franchise, and the letter A in Halloween has been swapped with the rune of thorn symbol. Finally, we have the 4K Ultra HD Collector's Edition, which shows Michael, also wearing his movie-accurate mask, standing in the Smith's Grove parking lot while someone uses a leaf blower behind him. He poses with a knife and a clenched fist for his Match.com profile, showing how much he loves fall. It also seems to indicate that his house is right next to Smith's Grove, despite being located in separate towns. Moving on, we come to Halloween H2O, which felt it was a good idea to ignore parts 4, 5, and 6. The teaser poster is very 90s-centric, as the majority of the horror movies released in the 90s had their characters posing in a line and looking all moody. Here we get Jamie Lee Curtis's Laurie Strode, or Carrie Tate. She's changed her name in the movie. Looking as beautiful and badass as ever, with Michelle Williams' Molly, Jodie Lynn O'Keefe's Sarah, LL Cool J's Ronnie, and Josh Hartnett's John posed behind her. I always wondered why Josh Hartnett was stuck in the back when he's one of the main characters and has more screen time than Michelle, Jodie, and LL. Is it because he was the least known of them? And this was his film debut, so well, they don't know him as much as these others. So, stick him in the back. Also, his face is weirdly obscured with shadow for no apparent reason. Next to them, we get Michael Myers doing his best impression of an Easter Island statue. Now, the main poster shown in theaters doesn't change anything, except it does darken Michael a bit, so now it looks more in the background than right next to him. It does also add this dumb tagline, "This summer, terror will be taking a vacation." Although the Japanese poster does look considerably better, it still has the 90s-esque look to it, but the actors are more prominent, with Josh Hartnett getting more face time here. Michael's face is more hidden, but it still does give off an eerie presence. There's also this cool image of Laurie standing there with an axe ready to battle Brother Michael. There's also this fan-made poster that keeps the original U.S. poster look, but instead changes the title to probably what it should have been called all along. Drops the dumb H2O part and adds the Roman numeral 7 and keeps the 20 years later subtitle. Yes, this actually looks much better. There's also this fan-made poster, which is an awesome throwback to the first film. It replaces the shot of the jack-o'-lantern with Laurie's head. They also fixed the original idiotic tagline, another callback to the original poster's tagline. It reads, "The night she fights back." They also removed any numerics that the title would be, calling it Halloween 20 years later, so it still sounds much better. This other fan-made poster here has a similar idea with the same title and a similar tagline, only putting it in the past tense. The image shows a hand drawing of Jamie posing for Vogue with her axe ready to do battle. Now the 4K Ultra HD Collector's Edition once again shows Michael posing, this time for his eHarmony profile. He continues to show his love for fall as we get some leaf blower action in the background. It's a very similar look to the Curse of Michael Myers box cover, only with the locale now being the parking lot of a posh private school. Next up is the craptastic sequel, Halloween Resurrection from 2001. Continuing the trend of showing hovering torsos in a row, which was already dying out at this point. Now this main poster makes several mistakes. First is showing Jamie Lee Curtis as Laurie Strode in the forefront, despite her only having a cameo in this film. What makes matters worse is this image of Laurie seems to be taken from a promotional photo for Halloween H2O, as Laurie Strode has longer hair in this film. There's also this poster here, which may or may not be fan-made, as it was found on several sites with no official creditor. If it's an original teaser poster, I don't remember seeing it, but honestly, it's pretty badass. And simplicity is the key here, as we just get the image of Michael who appears to be stuck inside a camera lens. Cracks in the lens form a knife, and blood drips down over the Myers house. Now there's also this one, which is very similar. The lens is brighter, and Michael's mask, along with the knife-shaped hole, are more prominent. However, the lens itself has less of a sheen to it. Also gone is the dripping blood, and the title gets a more classic font. Still unknown if this is fan-made or not. And there's also a variation of the previous two posters. This one features the Miramax logo in the corner, which could indicate it's fan-made. The films, since Curse of Michael Myers, were produced by Dimension Films, which was a label under Miramax at this point. However, they usually wouldn't have gone with the Miramax logo and instead showed the Dimension logo. Anywho, this one goes for a black and white look, but adds the blood back, making it the only color object on the poster. It also changes the title's font to the one featured in the main posters. We also have this fan-made poster showing Michael taking on his mortal enemy, fire. Also, while not technically a poster, I still feel I should point out this newspaper and this ad that features a lot of hilarious review blurbs. I mean, these reviews are strangely positive. Either they're so high when they watch it, or they're being paid to say this stuff. Because I find it hard to believe that anyone, even the most die-hard of Halloween fans, actually enjoyed this entry this much. Or much less refer to it as a fun movie, according to Steve Oldfield with Fox, or smart and scary, according to Betsy Pickle of the Knoxville News Sentinel, or better than Halloween H2O, according to Tony Toscano of KGZZ-TV, or surprising and fun, according to Glenn Lovell of the San Jose Mercury News, or the most terrifying movie of the summer, according to Jeffrey K. Howard of ABC. Yeah, apparently Jeffrey Howard didn't see Swordfish, Pearl Harbor, or Cats and Dogs. Now, if he had said that it was the most terrifying horror movie of the summer, that would have a ring of truth to it, but only because it was the only horror movie released in summer 2001. Also, I did want to point out the tagline, as I didn't when I talked about the original poster. Evil finds its way home. Okay, that's not bad. There's also the 4K Ultra HD Collector's Edition, which features Michael posing for his Bumble profile, knifeless for some reason, in front of his house and a Dangertainment van. He continues to show his love for fall with even more leaf blower action, although this time the leaves appear to be forming wings for no apparent reason. I guess he's trying to indicate that he's the angel of death. Now finally, before we move on, I found this one more for this awful sequel, and it's the funniest one yet. Courtesy of the Dark One posters, we get an image of one Busta Rhymes screaming his kung fu scream with the classic Myers hand and knife next to him. The tagline hilariously reads, "The night Busta Rhymes roundhouse kicked Michael Myers in the face." They should have released this one. This would have put more butts in the seats for sure. That brings us to Rob Zombie's 2007 remake. While I universally despise this remake for erasing all the mystery surrounding the Michael Myers character and stretching a simple 90-minute thrill into a nearly 2-hour bloodbath, I do have to give props for this poster. It doesn't try to copy the original at all. It even gives a new font for the title. We get this massive collage of scenes that form the classic Myers mask, and it's almost like a mosaic. I would say the collage is spoiler heavy, but this is a remake, so I mean, we already know what's going to happen. The giant mask does loom over the planet like Galactus, but unfortunately we don't see that happen in the movie. We also get this nice silhouetted shot of Michael walking around this house in the background, ready to audition for an updated music video of Hair by the Cowsills. He's also holding his knife in one hand and what appears to be his childhood clown mask in the other. I'm not a fan of the senseless tagline, though. Evil has a destiny? How can an adjective do something? There was also this poster that promoted the theatrical cut version for its DVD release. They keep the shot of hippie Michael standing around waiting for the next Woodstock concert, but removes the unique mosaic-type mask loom in the background and replaces it with more of a cliche collage of characters from the film. Whether they be minor or major, they're in there, probably. We also get a better look at the Myers mask here. I'm not sure why they added more foliage at the bottom. It just makes Michael look like a towering giant after getting hit with Wayne Zielinski's growing machine. We also get this blurb from New York Times' Matt Zoller-Stites, who claims that the film reestablishes Mr. Zombie's status as modern American horror's most eccentric and surprising filmmaker, which actually says more about the director and less about the film itself. Now, the unrated version changes the collage in the background and puts Michael more in the front. Michael looks pretty upset here that maybe he doesn't get to kill as many people as he does in this film. No, seriously, they edited out scenes from the theatrical cut where he actually ends up having like less of a body count in the unrated version. Weird. It seems with each new edition of the DVD release, we get closer and closer to Michael, as can be seen here on this 3-disc unrated collector's edition. God, if they come out with an ultimate edition, I'll probably just be zoomed into Michael's eye hole. Michael's so deep in thought here, he's probably thinking about who to butcher next, or maybe wondering what he's doing with his life. That takes us to Rob Zombie's sequel, Halloween 2 from 2009. This one features Michael in his trademark overalls, wearing a severely damaged mask, ready to stab the crap out of some tall grass in the rain. Michael, they invented lawnmowers for the reason. It's funny that they have him wearing his coveralls, considering we don't see him wearing them in the movie. And tagline here is even dumber and too much similarity to something you'd see with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise, remarking that family is forever. What is this, a Hallmark card? I gotta give it to him. The black and white look is a nice touch, though. We do have this alternate poster, which is a little bit more gritty, a little bit more grindhouse style. It keeps the same black and white image of Michael going nuclear on the grass and that lame tagline, but does add the image of the tormented Laurie Strode in the background. There's also a different background that's either woods or rusted metal. Who knows? There was also this teaser poster, which led fans to believe that Halloween 2 is going to be called H2. Thank God they didn't go through with that. It also features a gritty black and white image of Michael Myers and its crusty mask. Now, is it just me or does Michael Myers look cross-eyed here? Yep, definitely. There was also this teaser poster, again, confusingly titling it Halloween H2, or maybe it's H2 Halloween. Anyway, we get this, we get Michael not wearing his hobo clothes like we see in the movie, but rather his classic coveralls, standing in the rain in the middle of a pumpkin patch, wondering which dating site he should use next. That brings us to the legacy sequel, Halloween from 2018, which decided not to just confusingly keep the same titles the film is calling itself a sequel to, but also decided to ignore all other entries, including 1981's Halloween 2, but for some reason decides to try and make Halloween 3 more canon. Go figure. Here, simplicity is key. It seems as Michael is looking longingly downward against a black background, looking mighty disappointed that he hasn't gotten any responses from any of his dating profiles. There's also this alternate poster which shows Jamie Lee Curtis's Jamie Lloyd. Jamie Lee Curtis's Laurie Strode looking so lost in thought she doesn't see Michael Myers appearing out of the darkness next to her. There's also this fan-made poster, which is actually better than the ones we actually got. They retitle it Halloween Returns, which, while a bit cliche, is a hell of a lot better than just giving it the same name as its predecessor. We also get this hand-drawn style image of Michael Myers hovering an unsuspecting Laurie with a knife, wondering what Laurie is doing to that pumpkin. We can even get a tagline that reads, "Face your fate." Wait a minute, whose fate? Is it Michael's fate to kill Laurie? Or Laurie's fate to get rid of Michael? And as the movie goes, he's been in prison for 40 years. Maybe the tagline should have been "Face Your Fears," as Laurie was continuously traumatized by that one night to the point where she alienated her family, became the town kook, and fortified her house. Now, the takeaway here is Laurie is shown in Jamie Lee Curtis's signature short hair a la Halloween H2O, where in the film she actually has shoulder-length wavy hair. Honestly, she looks much better here. Now, the image was probably created like this because we were led under false pretenses of that what she's going to look like when Entertainment Weekly released a promotional photo for the film in 2017, with Jamie Lee Curtis announcing her return as Laurie Strode. Now, there is this other fan-made poster that features the same Halloween Returns title, but simply features Michael with glowing white eyes, his head trapped in a pumpkin. Eerie and effective, honestly. Somebody hire this person to do real movie poster work. That takes us to the horribly titled sequel, Halloween Kills. Not sure how a holiday can kill, and neither does this terrible movie. They again went for simplicity by showing a close-up of Michael in a burnt mask, an orange glow in front of him. Either Michael escaped a burning house, or he's wondering what went wrong when his date he was masked up with was on Zeus, went psychotic and tried to blowtorch his face. Maybe she has a thing against masks. There was also this poster, which was a bit more collage heavy. We get Laurie, who's barely in the film, mind you, standing there with her hair blowing in the wind. Below her is her daughter Karen and granddaughter Allison. Below them is Laurie's burning house. We also get this barely visible shot of Michael, who looks as big as the moon. We also get a tagline that reads, "You can't kill the boogeyman." Or can you? That brings us to the somehow even more awful final film in the Green McBride trilogy, but also the last film to date in the franchise, Halloween Ends. The teaser poster here removes the Halloween word from the title and just says "Ends" in big bold letters. I guess they're just hoping we'll recognize Michael Myers' face and know what it's about. And if we could even see Michael, it's barely visible. Now, the actual poster did show the full name, Halloween Ends, although it sounds more like they're planning to end a holiday more than anything. We get a shot of Christy Michael holding a knife while standing back-to-back with Laurie. Now, this doesn't tease so much as an epic final battle between the two as it does look more like a buddy cop-style team-up. That would have been interesting. Laurie and Michael set aside their differences to take on Corey Cunningham as he goes on an unstoppable murder spree. Yeah, it would still been ridiculous, but at least it would have been better than what we actually got. But hey, the Spanish language international poster seems to know how to get it right. Not only do they have a cooler title, Halloween La Noche Final, translated, it becomes Halloween the Final Night, but we also get a close-up of Michael and Laurie face-to-face invoking a final battle. It is a bit of a cliche to have a poster framed like this, as it was also used in horror films like Freddy vs. Jason and Alien vs. Predator, to name a few, but it still works. Now, I also remember seeing this poster, which weirdly shows a close-up of Michael's mask that's either morphing into a skull or Michael no longer has skin and the mask is melting to his skull. Either way, it doesn't make sense. And because fans seem to understand the movie franchise better than the actual filmmakers do, we do get these really cool-looking fan-made posters. This first one takes the clue from the OG poster and shows a smashed pumpkin with a knife sticking out and blood oozing from it. The tagline, which is good but not great, reads, "Who will survive the night?" Yeah, it does evoke a bit of a cliche from the... I'll cut that out. We also have this neat poster from artist Waldemar Witt, aka Diamond Dead, on Instagram. While this is essentially a rip-off or perhaps homage, if you want to stay positive, to the poster for Friday the 13th, The Final Chapter, I'd say it's still pretty neat. We still get Michael's crispy mask lying in a pool of blood, a knife stabbed into the eye hole. There's even a tagline, "Evil Dies Tonight," which borrows from the heavily quoted chant heard in Halloween Kills. Now, I hated it in that movie, but it seems fitting here. And finally, we have this fan-made poster from Nick Scumaci on Pinterest. Again, taking a cue from the OG poster, this one swaps the iconic orange for a grayer look. We also see what appears to be Laurie's hand gripping a knife with the reflected knife images forming Michael's mask. The tagline reads, "The night she sent him home," which, while sounding badass, almost sounds like she scolded Michael and sent him home to be put in timeout. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this bonus content from the SmithFlix Podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, you can also check out the SmithFlix Podcast on Spotify. Season 3 will be coming soon. Now, you can also hear us on Audible, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. I do thank everyone for watching. Take care. Stay safe out there.